Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Slates, and I'm here to introduce you to Logic of English Lesson 13. A couple of things that you need to have with you. First of all, we have our new Logic of English student guide for lessons 13 and 14, but I want you to keep it closed right now. We're not actually going to use any of it at this moment. You also need all of your phonogram cards. So while I'm talking, someone in the class can be getting ready all of your phonogram cards. All right, we are already on lesson 13, which is amazing to think at this point in the year that we have done so many lessons and we have learned so much about English words. I hope that you are learning things and that you are using what you learned to help you to spell words when you go to write in your journal or a writing piece, and that you are using what you learned to help you to read words too. So this lesson today is a little bit interesting because I learned something. And I know you probably think, oh, you're a teacher, you never learn anything, right? But actually that's not true. I learned something amazing about our sound. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let's look at our new phonograms, okay? In order to look at our new phonograms, though, I want us to look at this phonogram, which we learned a long time ago. Can anyone remember what sound this phonogram makes? It's the right? And do you remember how I gave you a key word that I wanted you to remember? It's the of something. Can you think of? It's the of her, right? So right now I'm going to write the word her at the top of my So we remember that this is the of her. And now we finally get to figure out, why do we need a key word for the of her? And it has to do with some of these other phonograms that we need to know for English words. So let's look at these three, okay? I want you to listen carefully as I say the phonogram sound and see if you notice something. Are you ready? Did you notice something about all of those phonogram sounds? Let me do it again. Do you notice that they all make the same sound, the same exact sound, and they make the same exact sound as this don't they? So, Mr. How in the world are we supposed to know which to use in an English word? We need some more key words, don't we? We need something so we know when we're supposed to use IR, when we're supposed to use UR, and when we're supposed to use EAR. So we are going to come up with a key word that's going to help us to remember when and which one of those phonograms to use. So if this is the of her, we're going to make one the of bird. That's a pretty common word, right? Bird, the of bird. This one, we're going to say this is the of hurt, right? You probably have a chance to write the word hurt a lot. So we're going to remember this one is the of hurt. Now this one you may be thinking, even some adults in the room, wait a minute, that's ear, Mr. Slates. That's the word ear. And you are correct. By itself, it is the word ear. But it can also make an sound, particularly when there's consonants after it. So we're going to call this the of search. So let me write it. Look at this word. If I were to look at this word and say search, that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Okay, so that's not actually ear in the word. This is where you have to be smart, right? You can't just always rely on, ooh, that's what I knew before, because in this case, we have to consider all the rules. This is actually an sound, and we're going to call it the of search. Now, some people think it's very helpful to have some sort of a phrase to help you remember. So here's a phrase that the people at Logic of English came up with that might help you remember. It says, her bird hurt the search. Now, what does that even mean? Well, it's a little bit hard to explain, but if you think about a search, you're looking for something, right? So a girl's bird hurt the search, meaning like she got in the way of them searching for something. You as a class can come up with another phrase if you want to, if you think you can come up with something to help you creatively remember the different But this is the one that I'm going to use on the video. And if you look, I've separated into different columns, because what would be a good idea is to start to gather some words so you can kind of see, oh yeah, look, these words have ER, these words have IR, these words have UR, and these words have EAR. Does that make sense? Now, we purposefully put them in this order because this is how common they are. And when I say common, that means I find them the most. Most of the time, many, 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 many times, it's your ER or your sound is going to be made by that first one. That's your most common. So based on what I have up here, can you guess which one would be the least common, which means it's the one that we're not going to see very often? It's that one. Yeah, not very often. And this one can be tricky, right? Because we also learned this as a phonogram. Remember? And that's my E-A phonogram. So we have to be careful when we're looking at words. What phonogram are we looking at? Are we looking at this one? Or are we looking at this one? All right? Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is do some exploring of our sound. All right? So even as an adult, when I look at my plain R and I think the sound that phonogram makes is and then I look at these other vowel R controlled I feel like it's the same sound. So think about it for a minute. Maybe even pause the video and say the sounds back and forth for a minute and see if you notice a difference. So this is a consonant, right? It's not a vowel, but it goes This is an R-controlled vowel, and it goes So think about it. Do you notice a difference in the two sounds? This versus this Thumbs up if you notice a difference in the sounds. Thumbs down if you have no idea. You do not notice any sort of a difference. Hands in the middle if you're like, I'm not quite so sure. Well, even as an adult, I was even talking to some of your teachers. I can't hear a difference in these sounds. Now, I did talk to another teacher in our building, and she's a speech teacher. Her name is Mrs. Goro, and she said, oh, Mr. Slates, of course they make a different sound. And I thought, what am I missing? I can't hear the difference in the sound. But here's where I learned something, all right? After studying this lesson for a little while, I read that you can't always hear the difference in the sounds until you put the or this in an actual word. And then there's some clues that will help you to figure out which is being used, all right? So I'm going to take this down for a minute. I have provided your classrooms with these two yellow posters, all right? They're kind of like mini posters. Okay, so let's look at them for just a second. And then we're going to do some experiments with some words to see if you can figure out which category they would go in, all right? See how this is a plain R? It's our R consonant, right? And it just goes what? What sound does the R make by itself? Right? See my ear? It says you can hear the vowel, okay? So I want to give you a word, and I want you to see if when I say the word, you can hear the vowel sound. Now remember, my vowel is going to be an A, E, I, O, U, and any of its sounds, okay? So it could be its short sound, which is its first sound. It could be its name, which is its long sound. Or some of them even have those broad sounds, like O, which goes ah, O, oo, right? So let me give you a word. You ready? Bring. Bring. Think for a minute. In that word, I can definitely hear an bring. Now I want to think, can I hear the vowel? Can I hear a vowel sound in bring? Pause the video for a minute, or just take a second to talk to your neighbor. Maybe do pair share. See, can you hear a vowel sound in bring? Let me stretch out the word bring in all of its sounds and see if we can hear the vowel. Ba, ing, bring. I clearly hear a vowel, don't I? Right after the I hear an I sound. The vowel is clear. So guess what? It means that in that word, I am not using one of these R-controlled vowels. I am using a plain R. It's an R consonant. So let's look at the word bring. Let's see if I can see it. Ing. Ring, right? Now look. There's my R phonogram. Notice, it's not one of the new ers that we learned or the of her, is it? It's bring. I can hear the vowel. It's the plain consonant. Now, some of us call when the R goes together with a consonant, another consonant, sometimes we call it a blend because it blends together. And it kind of does. It goes brr, brr, really quickly goes together, doesn't it? But they are separate sounds. But notice I do hear that vowel. I hear that I in there, bring. If I slow it down, I hear it. Now let's do another one. Are you ready? Here's a word. Let's take one of the words from our poster. Search. Search. Take a moment and think. Do pair share. Do something else. Do it as a whole class. Can you hear the vowel in the word search? Pause the video for a minute. Let me go ahead and stretch out the sounds and search and see if we hear a vowel sound. Search. Do you hear a vowel? I do not hear a vowel. There is no vowel sound in the word search. Now, if we look at this poster, it shows my ER, my UR, my IR, and my EAR, which are all my sounds, right? And look, it has the ear again, but it has that symbol again, which means not. And it says you can't hear the vowel. When you have one of these R controlled, the R is so controlling that basically it's like, bloop, there goes the vowel, no sound. And the vowel makes absolutely no sound. Think of the word search. Let me get my blue poster out again. Here's the word search. Look, it's my EAR, right? I can't hear the vowel. Search. There's no vowel sound in there, which means it's going to be one of these R-controlled vowel phonograms. Okay? Does that make sense? Here's what you're going to do. First of all, I'm going to raise up my yellow posters here because we're going to come up with lots of words. I'm going to say a word. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to think, in that word, can I hear the vowel sound? Can I hear any vowel sound around the sound? If I can, then what we're going to do is we're going to put a tally in this column because it's probably that consonant R all by itself. If I cannot hear the vowel, like in search, I'm going to put a tally in this column. All right? So I'm going to do it here on the video, but I want you to do it in your classrooms too. So you need to put these two up somewhere or have it somewhere in your room. Each time I give you a word, I want you to pause the video and work together in some way. So that's up to your teacher if you want to do pair share, if you want to do groups. Take about 10, 15 seconds. Think about the sounds. If you need to, stretch out the word sound by sound by sound. Listen for the sound. If you can hear the vowel in the word, you're going to tally in this column because it's going to be that R consonant phonogram all by itself. If you can't hear the vowel, it's going to be one of these, right? So let's try one together first, and then we'll get started on our own, okay? So let's think of the word heard, heard. If I stretch it out, I hear absolutely no vowel. Do I? Heard. So I'm going to put the heard in this column. Do you see it? It has an EAR. So it is one of my vowel R control. And the R is so strong, I can't even hear the vowel. All right? Now, just to note, you don't have these in your classroom. You don't have these blue words. They are in your student workbook on the first page, but I want you to keep that closed. And I want you not to look. And I want to trust you that you're actually not going to look. Because guess what? If you look, you're kind of taking away from your own learning. Why would you do that? Just listen to the words, figure out, put a tally in the column that they go in, and then I will show them to you and we'll confirm whether you were correct or not. All right? Ready? Here's your first word. Say the word train. Train. All right. Go ahead and figure out which column am I going to put a tally in. Can I hear my vowel or do I not hear my vowel? Train. You should have put a tally in this column because look at the word train. I can hear that vowel, can I? Train, train. All right, let's do another one. Say the word turn, turn. Go ahead and figure out which column am I going to put a tally in. Can I hear the vowel or not? Turn. You should have put a tally in this because I don't hear a vowel, do I? The R is so strong. And let's look at the word. I'll bring it up to you. Turn. Look, it's my UR. Next word. Say the word drip. Drip. Pause the video for a second and figure out where you would put your tally. Drip. You should have put it right here. I hear a vowel in that word, drip. I can hear my I. I can clearly hear an I sound. Next word. Say brand. Brand. Go ahead and pause the video or figure it out. I should have put a tally in this column again. I'll bring it close because look at brand. I clearly hear a vowel in brand. Next word, perch. Perch. Like the bird will perch on the ledge. All right, I should have put a tally in this column. I do not hear a vowel sound at all. The R is controlling it so much, I can't hear it. Next one, say beard. Beard. Go ahead and figure it out. I should have put a tally in this column because I clearly hear an E sound. This is a tricky one. Look at it. Mr. Seitz, wait a minute. You just taught us that E-A-R makes an sound. But did I say always? Did I say always? No. This is where you have to be a smart reader. Because if I look at this word, it sort of looks like bird. But does that make sense? Well, I guess there is a bird that flies in the air, doesn't it? But this doesn't make sense in here. I'm using my E-A phonogram. So it's going to go here. Next word. Say brow. Brow. Like this is my eyebrow. Figure out which column it goes in. You should have put it here. Check it out. I clearly hear a vowel sound. Brow, ow. We know that's a vowel phonogram. Remember? Ow, oh. Next one. Say term. Term. Go ahead and figure out where it goes. Term. All right. I can't hear the vowel in term. I can't hear it. It's like the R is controlling it way too much. Term, There's no vowel sound. A few more. Say the word print. Print. Go ahead and figure it out. All right. Print goes here. I clearly hear the I sound. Print. So it's going to go in this column. Next word. Say dirt. Dirt. My son loves to play in dirt. You're going to put it in this column. Clearly, we do not hear the vowel sound. It's just an sound. So it's the R controlling it a lot. Say ear. Ear. This is a tricky one. I clearly hear an E sound before the don't I? So even if I hear it before, look at it. I know that it's by itself. Say the word track. Track. I clearly hear an sound in track. So it's got to go here. Let me show it to you. Ooh. And your last word, bird, bird. Now, if you were paying attention, you would already know where this goes. It goes here, doesn't it? Bird, bird. I do not hear a vowel sound in bird. All right? Okay. Now, Mr. Slates, how does this help me? How does this help me with my writing? How does this help me with my spelling? How does this help me with my reading? Well, clearly, if you see these phonograms, you know that they make an sound. This is your tricky one, isn't it? But at least you have something to go on. You know that you can have the phonogram E-A, or it can make the sound, but it's never going to make the sound without that R. Does that make sense? So if A is by itself, you know it's got to be that phonogram we learned a long time ago, E-A. How does this help me with writing? Well, let's just take a couple of words, for example, and if I'm writing a writing piece or I'm writing in my journal, and pretend I want to write the word teacher, teacher. Think for a minute as a group. Maybe even think, pair, share with people next to you or in your group. The word teacher. Do you clearly hear a vowel next to the sound in teacher? Teacher. Talk a minute. I don't know about you, but I do not hear a vowel in teacher right next to my So guess what? It means it's going to be one of these. And let's look at the word. Let me see if you can actually see it. I think I'm going to go over here. Look at the word teacher. Teach. It's not going to be a plain R, all right? Because I would hear a vowel sound before the if it was just the plain R. It's going to be one of our R-controlled. And in this case, it's my ER. Teacher, teacher. Thumbs up if you understand. Teacher. Now, most of the time, many times, when you hear that R-controlled vowel, this is your most common, your ER, right? So try that first, because that's going to be your most common. And later on, we'll do some exploring, and you will definitely see that it's a lot of time. It's the ER. All right, let's try one more word. Say the word bring. Bring. Okay, we kind of covered this at the beginning. Do I clearly hear a vowel sound in and around the sound in bring? Bring. I do. So this time, I'm not going to go bring. Bring, because I clearly hear an is sound in bring. So I know that it's just going to be that VR blend, and the R is not going to be controlling any sort of a vowel in that one. I'm just going to write it like this, bring. So to quick review, if you can hear the vowel sound next to the in any of your words, then it's going to be its consonant R phonogram by itself. Okay, meaning it's not going to be one of these vowel R controlled. If you can't hear the vowel, it is the R controlling the vowel. So that means you need to use one of these. All right. Now, the last thing I have for you today, I want you to turn in your student notebooks or your student workbooks to page 243. If you look on 243, tons of words there that have the vowel control phonograms. What you're going to do is you're going to either highlight the so either the ER, the IR, the UR, or the EAR, or you can underline them. And what I want you to try to figure out is, which one do you see the most? Do you see one the most, or not really? All right? So your goal is to highlight the but then, as always, I want you to try to read the words, because just highlighting, that's just giving you a part of the word. That's not actually helping you to read the entire word. So then I want you to read the entire word. There's a couple of other things in your student workbook. On the first page is some of those words, not all of them, that we talked about before that we put in blue. You can go back over them as a group or in pairs and kind of see, oh yeah, in some of them I hear the vowel, but in others I don't. but that is up to your teacher. There's also a phonogram bingo game. That is, again, up to your teacher. All right, boys and girls, thanks so much for listening and have a great day.